a big financial boost for the city.
Cabinet members with President Barack Obama's administration delivered the news and millions of dollars to help Detroit in key areas like public safety, transportation, and what Mayor Dave Bing called human capital to help the city of Detroit.
Yeah, tonight we have Team 7 coverage from today's big announcement. We'll start with 7 Action News anchor Jeff Vaughn, and he's live in downtown Detroit. Now, Jeff, this is all new money. We haven't heard of this before, right?
Yeah, let's put this in perspective, Stephen. That $19 billion of long-term debt, well, that is what the city has incurred. And you might remember that proposal to creditors from the city of Detroit back in June. Well, that $300 million, not 1 cent is going to go to that long-term debt. This is separate money that will go towards revitalization of the city, reinvention of the city, help in blight removal, and as you mentioned earlier, for things like transportation and public safety. But let's go back a little bit before we go forward here on that $300 million and see how Detroit got to the point where they needed $300 million in revitalization. You might remember back in November of 2011, Mayor Dave Bing, well, he announced the city would run out of money by April. Well, by March of 2012, Moody's downgraded Detroit's credit rating. In January of 2013, a citywide audit revealed a $327 million deficit, and Governor Rick Snyder, well, he declared a financial emergency and said that he would soon appoint an emergency manager to the city of Detroit. Now let's fast forward then to March 25th. Emergency manager Kevin Orr had his first day, and then on July 18th, Detroit declared bankruptcy, and that's how we got $19 billion in debt and in the need of some $300 million to go towards the neighborhoods. Now, that announced $300 million, that came down today, but it's actually been put to use over the last few years. It started back in 2010, and we have some video just last month how it was being put to use in neighborhoods in Detroit for blight removal. Governor Snyder was there that day, as he was today, in that meeting with Attorney General Eric Holder, cabinet members with the Department of Transportation and the Economic Council as well. Now, Kim Russell joins us. She was down there at Wayne State University today for that meeting. Now, Kim is going to break down where that $300 million is going to go. Kim?
Yes, as you said, this is not a bailout. The money is not going to go towards helping Detroit get out of bankruptcy. It's going to be an investment, is what the administration is saying, an investment in things that the city needs to see improved if it is to succeed after bankruptcy.
Put the bankruptcy aside. We're talking about reinvestment and revitalization for the city and getting at some long-standing issues that everybody has said needs to be gotten at for the better part of at least a decade.
It came after a direct order from President Barack Obama. Even though the city of Detroit did not apply for and win federal grants, find a way to get the city money from federal programs. Today we learned 3 things are being targeted.
Blight and revitalization have to be one of our top priorities.
U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Sean Donovan announced his department is working with local charities and businesses to demolish dangerous buildings and clean up neighborhoods. The amount to be invested, $150 million.
We'll continue to stand with you and to work with you to advance public safety.
U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder announced $30 million will be spent on public safety. Justice Department funds will pay for police officers. FEMA dollars will pay to hire firefighters and get them the equipment they need. Plus, U.S. Secretary of Transportation Anthony Fox says the federal government is committed to improving transportation. $140 million will be spent on fixing buses, making them safer, and on the M1 Rail Woodward streetcar project.
Because it will serve as a catalyst for the city of Detroit, resulting in tax base expansion, more mobility choices, and the opportunity to extend over time.
If you're a citizen of Detroit, you deserve it. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen overnight, but step by step, good things are starting to happen.
Now, moving forward, members of the president's administration say they are also going to invest in technology in the city and helping the city apply for those grants so that the city can get this money in the first place, something that'll help the city continue to thrive in the future. Reporting live in Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News. Jeff, back to you.
Okay, Kim, and it should be mentioned that some of that money is going to go towards additional public safety and firefighters and police officers as well. But we should reiterate that point that the city just wasn't really, they didn't have a way to adequately manage the grant. So this money would have trickled into the city of Detroit probably back in 2010. But because they didn't have a way to manage those grants, that money is really kind of forgiven by the Obama administration. They go ahead and give the money today, if you will, and just forgive the city of Detroit in the way that they weren't able to manage those grants. And that's That's how the money was freed up as a result of today. Now, coming up at 5:30, we're talking a lot about public money here, $300 million, but there's some private money involved as well. I'm going to speak to somebody who is involved with an organization that's pumping millions and millions of dollars into the city of Detroit through private funding. So we'll have that coming up at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, Jeff, thank you for that. We just certainly hope the city of Detroit spends that money wisely, because we've seen in the past money get lost. We'll talk to you again at 5:30, Jeff.